Hello internet, that geek redhead here, coming to you somewhere different. Happy Pride Month, by the way. There's someone I'd like you to meet. So here I am, braving central London for you people, just to show you the setup they have for the Rise of the Beast movie. Let's get closer to my Optimus, shall we? There he is. Ooh. Sorry. Yeah, it's rather crowded here. I keep walking into people. Look at him, big boy. I don't know if this is supposed to be to scale, but there is a child. I'll blur his face out later for scale. He looks good though. I'll see if I can come back another time when he's not half in shadow. Maybe that's symbolic. I don't know. Yeah, look at him. Next to Prime. I love it. And here I am back in the room, away from the central London crowds, thank goodness. So I'm actually going to see the movie on Thursday, this Thursday, as in the day after tomorrow. I'll update with my initial thoughts either after I've seen it or the day after, or maybe never, who knows, I'm very inconsistent. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Before I get on to the topic of the video, i.e. my predictions for the plot, my hopes and my fears, I just want to get a few things out of the, a few notes out. I did mention them in my... I did initially mention them in my trailer reaction, but I cut them out because I was rambling, which I've known to do. So yeah, here we go. I may be excited to see this movie on Thursday, but I still somewhat resent its existence. For the pure and simple fact that it is a live-action Transformers movie, despite how good Bumblebee was. I have mellowed out a bit over the years when it comes to reboots and remakes and so on and so forth, but still. It is a crime that only one of the original voice casters in this, and that original one isn't even voicing his original character. He didn't even show up till season 3. Don't get me wrong, I am super excited for David Sobolov. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. But he's been dead excited, so good for him. I look forward to hearing him voice Rhinox and apparently 2 others. Let's see if I can recognise him. Maybe he'll say justice. Who knows? He was awesome as Depth Charge. But yes, it is a crime that we don't have the original cast listed in any roles that I have seen. As for cameos, I'll be able to, well... I say I'll be able to tell when I watch it. Maybe not. It might be subtle. Like, maybe they'll have the live-action people in the background somewhere. I don't know, maybe Gary Chalk will be at a conference table like he was in Sonic, the movie. That was random. Maybe Blue Man Kuma will be one of the forest guards like he was in Stargate SG-1. Forest guards? That wasn't who he was, but he was definitely in a few episodes of Stargate SG-1. By the way. Getting off topic. Shh. I've actually cajoled a friend of mine to come to the movie with me, even though she has zero interest in Beast Wars or Transformers or anything. I kind of strong-armed her to come with me, just so that I have somebody to go ee! Or to in the cinema. And to be fair, she was asking me, why do you want to go see these? Everyone I've spoken to have said that the Transformers movies are terrible. Fair point, but I kind of want to be one of the first to be able to go, it was actually okay, or it was really terrible as I predicted. Let's see. Again, the first Transformers movie was alright. Bumblebee was pretty good. The rest, admittedly, were pretty terrible. Cautious optimism, but also this kind of masochistic need to see it for myself. At least I'll have somebody to soundboard off. She'll probably just be sitting there like this. I'm very sorry, but thank you for coming with me. I'm just going to say these 4 actors just because it's their characters in the movies. You're not going to have Gary Chalk as Optimus Primal. You're not going to have Ian James Corliss as Cheesaw. You're not going to have Pauline Newstone as Ares, and you're not going to have Richard Newman as Rhinox. And that really does suck. But having said that, these people gave voice and life to characters that I grew up with, I saw as friends and heroes. And nothing will ever take that away from them. They will always be those characters to me and to hundreds, if not thousands, of others. So for that, I thank all of you wonderful, talented people. And it does suck that you're not in this movie, but I hope that at least they'll have given you a cameo. And if not, screw Hollywood, right? Screw them anyway. But thank you all for lending your voices to these wonderful characters that we all love. And thank you for being them. Okay, now that the gushy part is over, on to another point. This is not a Beast Wars movie. This is a Transformers movie with Beast Wars characters in it. So I'm choosing not to be angry about at least that aspect of it. And Beast Wars characters have been borrowed ever since it first aired. So we've had Black Arachnia in all kinds of different forms. Cheetor's been quite popular. Most recently, I believe, Tarantulas is in Earthspark, which I haven't seen yet, but I'll get to it, don't worry. So, yeah, these characters have got, you know, they're long-staying. Eraser and Tigatron, for example, they're in quite a few of the comics, as far as I know. Rat Trap, if I remember right, I think it was the Windblade series, he's Starscream's second in command when Starscream is ruling Cybertron. I won't get into the comics because I'm so many decades worth to catch up on, but hey, Rat Trap's in the comics and he's on Cybertron. Cool. But yeah, I've forgotten my point, but that's fine because I'm just going to move straight on. Predictions for the movie. Pew, 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 pew. So the first thing we're going to have to do, is establish the new human characters. I don't care. I don't care about the humans. I said this in my Bumblebee review. I do not care about the humans. So it looks like there's going to be two humans. There's going to be a bloke and a woman and the bloke's family, something, save them. I don't care. I really don't care. Be there, just don't be annoying. That's all I ask, okay? Don't be annoying. Another thing we'll have to establish is Optimus, in that he's been on Earth since 80... whenever that was in Bumblebee. So he's been on Earth for 7 years. It's now 1994. And they're going to have to spend a little bit of time, at least, you know, establishing that he's, I don't know, grown attached to the planet, or some of the people, like the government, I don't know if they're going to go down that route, or if they're just going to stick with Bumblebee in disguise, and nobody knows about them until Mirage brings this pet human home. I don't know. But I hope they don't just do it in exposition. A certain amount of exposition is fine, but if they go, as you know, sorry, getting off topic. So establishing the humans, establishing Prime's connection with the planet, because that is going to be fairly important to where the Maximals come in. So, the big U himself. You know who I'm talking about. Sorry. So, Unicron. He's coming. He is bad. This is bad news for everybody, because, well, he is a planet eater. Which means we're not going to survive if his plan succeeds. So this is the major plot thing that I'm predicting, calling it here. We know that there's Energon on the planet, mostly because of, you know, general Transformers lore. The reason they came to Earth in the first place is because they had an abundance of Energon. Whoopee. On that note, I think how it got there and how much of it there is will lie in what we discover in the movie. We also know that Optimus sent Bumblebee to Earth for a reason in the previous movie, and I believe one of the reasons was because Energon. And they need Energon to survive. It's their lifeblood, it's their power source, it's everything. And also, something I noticed in the trailer was this big glowing blue crevasse, whatever you call it. Big blue crack in the earth, and Energon is usually blue. And I'm not talking about the refined Energon cubes that you saw in G1, those were purple. I'm talking about raw Energon, like in Beast Wars and in Transformers Prime, in its natural state is blue. So that's my thinking there. My guess is that seeds of Energon were planted years and years ago, maybe thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, who knows, to grow on a still developing Earth, so that by the time Unicron came back, there was lots of it and he could just go and have a nice, nutritious, satisfying meal. High in potassium, maybe Energon is. I went Yoda there. And the Terracons are here to, I don't know, Silver Surfer? They're either here to kind of come to Earth and say to its inhabitants, bask in the glory of the knowledge that you will be ended by the hands, or jaws, of Unicron, or they're just coming to make sure that everything is prepared for him. I don't really know enough about them in their original, existence, so I can't make a guess there. Except that Peter Dinklage will be the one to say, behold, or I don't know, that will be fun. So those stone circular entryways we saw on the ground in the trailer, I think are going to be quite significant, obviously because they paid attention to them in the trailer, but also because I think maybe the early humans were aware of this at some point. So my guess is maybe the Maximals, they say they've been here for centuries, so maybe they came to warn the early humans about it, and they tried to find a way to seal away the Energon, or at least mask it from Unicron's detection. This could tie in quite nicely to the Beast Wars canon, in that they themselves have actually interacted with early humans, I mean proto-humans, but still humans. We don't talk about the CGI on these early humans, no. And also that their version of prehistoric Earth was itself an experiment by the Vok, the weird skull tentacle alien creatures who kidnapped my beloved Tigatron and Airazor, but we won't talk about that right now. So please don't let that be a plot thread. I'd just stick with Unicron because there's all sorts of Tripredacus Council, Tarantulas, Vok thing that apparently happened in the comics I don't know anything about. Feel free to source me these comics as I haven't actually seen or read them. But something Unicron, I don't know, I don't care. Let's just stick with Unicron for now. Do you see what I mean by it was rambling in the previous video with the trailer reaction, so I had to just cut it. This is why I'm going over it now. Bleh. So, in the original series, in Beast Wars, the planet Earth was originally an experiment by these aliens. They had planted seeds of Energon either in the planet after it had developed or something else, I don't know, and basically were kind of keeping an eye on it to see what was going on, I guess. But then when the Maximals and Predacons interfered with their fighting, they decided to terminate the experiment, to which, of course, Optimus said, you can't do that, there are living creatures here, you have no right. Similar, by the way, to what Optimus Prime did in Transformers Prime, by beseeching Unicron not to wake up and stretch his legs, otherwise he would destroy everything that had, spawned from him being the planet's core. So that's where I personally think this whole Energon thing is going to go. Alternatively, maybe Energon was planted somewhere in the cosmos and the planet built around it, and maybe that's why there's an abundance of it. Maybe. Very similar to Unicron drifting through space and then space debris, attaching to him, and then he became the Earth. It's a very long story. I think the first option is a bit more likely, but we'll see. So that's plot that I think is going to happen, the grand scheme of things. There are obviously going to be little things, who knows, there might be little conflicts between characters. Speaking of which, something that Airazor said in the trailer.
Optimus, we must trust each other to protect the home we all share.
So we must trust each other kind of indicates that there might be a little bit of tension between the Maximals and the Autobots at first, which could either be just initial mistrust from, why are these animal formers, you've been here for centuries and haven't said anything? Sure, yeah, that sounds legit. Could be that, or perhaps they've created some new lore for this film, in that maybe there's a breakaway faction of Cybertronians that left Cybertron eons ago to do something or other, and it turns out it's the Maximals. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure about what they're going to do in terms of the history, because what they did in the War for Cybertron trilogy in Kingdom was that the Maximals were from the future after Optimus and his gang abandoned Cybertron, and then Nemesis Prime, blah blah blah. Kind of complicated, kind of convoluted, frankly. But there was mistrust on the Maximal side towards the Autobots. Either way, Airazor is saying we need to trust each other to save the planet. Cool. On that note, it sounds like she is filling two roles. Her own, in that she is Airazor and she's a badass, but also Tigatron's, because he was the planet-affirming, nature lover of the original series and would have wanted the planet saved, which I get, but I'm also quite sad about, because that kind of indicates that there's definitely not going to be a Tigatron. Why have they forsaken my boy? Why do they keep shafting him? First he gets sucked into space and... We will have justice for Tigatron. Which leads me on to hopes. So even though we've only been shown 4 Maximals in Optimus, Cheetor, Rhinox and Airazor, and 1 Predacon in Scorponok. I'm sorry, that's still so funny. There may be a small chance that they could introduce more down the line. I mean, I've been keeping away from like toy releases. As far as I know, there isn't anything. But what would be a good accessory to, say, Rhinox's action figure if they were to have, say, a small little spy bot, you know, who can get into small places and maybe, you know, do some sabotage or blow shit up. Rat Trap! How perfect would that be? And also, frankly, it would be slightly less terrifying having a giant, what do they call them, Sumatran rats that can also transform into a big sarcastic robot. Then to have a little rat bot, and you could sneak into places and be like, ooh, this is what's happening, and then be sarcastic. I don't know, I'm just hoping here. Like I said, these are the hopes. Also, the fact that Scorponok is here at all, yes, he is now he's become the Steve from Transformers Prime of this universe, in that he's now just a drone that's... I'm assuming he's on Unicron's side somehow. That kind of gives way an opportunity for other Predacons to appear, no? I don't think you could have the Predacon Megatron, because, well, we haven't even seen OG Megatron, so what's up with that? Unless he's in Antarctica, please no. I hope this is an actual reboot and not a prequel to the original Transformers thing. I'll get to that. La 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 la. You could potentially have, say, Waspinator or Inferno. Come on. I mean, they're, you know, arachnid, insectoid things. Those would be good baddies to have against, and then you could blow up as many Waspinators as you like. That would be very in character. Another thing I would like is a nod to the original theme, like in the guitar. Like, come on, they did it in Bumblebee. We had a little bit of, you got the touch, da, da. Can we please have the guitar riff from the opening? But that would be, I'd like that. Hopes. Which brings me on to my fears. Going back to what I was saying just towards the end of that previous section, I hope this doesn't turn out to, in fact, be a prequel to the 2007 Transformers. Because we haven't seen Megatron. And who's to say that Optimus didn't come to Earth previously and then leave again, but Bumblebee stayed behind? I mean, there have been Transformers on the planet already. In the Age of Extinction, is that the one with the knights and the swords? I don't care. But the point is... the fact that the Maximals have been here for centuries kind of worries me, because I'm like, does that mean we're replacing the idea of there were knights in Transformers and further, or is this a completely new thing? If it was a completely new thing, cool. If not, I'm a little worried. My biggest fear is that there is going to be little to no character development for anyone. Now, we know Bumblebee quite well because of the last film. Or do we? Because we got to know, you know, memory wiped Bumblebee and then a little bit of Kick-Ass Warrior Bumblebee towards the end. But what will have changed in the last 7 years? Is he still going to be the sort of curious, cutesy thing, or is he going to be like, pew, pew, pew? And he doesn't speak still, probably. I haven't heard anything in the trailer, and nobody said anything about Ratchet trying to fix his voice box. I don't think Ratchet's in this, unless they get Wheeljack to do it. So, I don't think we're going to get too much from him. I think we're just going to see Scout Bumblebee, and he's kind of going to be sidelined as a side character now that Prime is here. The Maximals. I don't know when in the movie they're going to be introduced. Given how much they've been shown in advertising, I would hope it's at least before the halfway mark, but who's to say? Grimlock and the Dinobots were given a heck ton of, promotional material when Age of Extinction, is that what it is, came out, but as far as I know, they were only in the last, 10 minutes? Side note, I refuse to check this because I refuse to watch that movie. All in all, I'm a little worried that any characters outside of Optimus Prime, and maybe Optimus Primal, will be boiled down to, like, one character trait. Cheetor is fast. Rhinox is the tank. RC is the pink one. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully there will be time for that, but the thing with Bumblebee is that we had just one Transformer to focus on for the majority of the film. Bumblebee and his human friend. But we've gone from one Transformer and one human predominantly to 8 Transformers and at least 2 humans, so it doesn't really leave much breathing room. Plus there's this big world-ending event happening that's going to take a lot of the focus. So I think character might end up being sidelined and lost a bit. I hope not. I hope that the director and the writers can give us something, because I don't want our guys, who I love and lots of people love, to just be there just cause. Let's put animals in it. Beasts, let's pick these 4 and they'll just be there. Please no. Yeah, that's my main concern, is the characters. I mean, for God's sake, Cheetor and Rhinox haven't said a damn thing in the trailers so far. Ares has only got the one line. Conclusion. Having said all of that, I am grateful to this movie for one major thing. Fans. Whether people have been returning to Beast Wars after 25 years because of all this talk around the movie, or if people are only just discovering Beast Wars because of this movie and they're going, oh, who are these characters? Lots of people are coming back out of the woodworks and the fandom is kind of alive again, and I'm loving that. So great, more fans to share in our love for this series. I know the animation is dated, it was 1996, come on. And also, frankly, the robots themselves look really good. The only thing it really falls down in is the beast modes and the backgrounds. So come on, let's be kind. Regardless of all that, the characters were great. The storylines for the most part were so good. It was the first time we had a real through story throughout the seasons. And hello, some of these characters, as I said, have been used countless times again in other iterations. Dinobot, as in, Beast Wars Dinobot, is in the Transformers Hall of Fame for a reason. He is an amazing character. He's complex. And this is just something you didn't really have in Transformers initially. You do now. You've got loads of depth and layers and all sorts of juicy character things. But Beast Wars started my love for it and a lot of people's love for it. People can say truck not monkey all they like. The fact is, we are here and we are here to stay. We haven't gone away for the last 25 years and we will not go away for another 25 years and beyond. That sounded a little smug and I apologise, but we're here and we love it. We're staying. An example of, meeting new fans or revisiting old fans, I'm actually part of a project online at the moment, which will be releasing at some point this month. I won't say anything yet until I can. I don't know if I can hint as to what it could be. But I've met people who have known Beast Wars since the 90s like I have, but I've also met people who've only discovered it in the last year or so, in their early 20s, and they love it just as much because it's so good and because they heard about it through, through the Rise of the Beasts or just through going through all the Transformers series, and they've come to realise it's one of the tops. Because new fans are coming out and sharing with each other, there's more to this universe to discover. And I love that. Bring it on. More. Tell me in comments, if you've made it this far, tell me about different iterations. Tell me about all the different characters. Tell me what you would love to see going forward. Do you want to see a full Beast Wars reboot with updated animation, similar to what they did in Kingdom, but not quite as rushed and forced as Kingdom? This ended up a lot longer than I anticipated. Whoops. Like I said, I rambled in the previous one. You can only imagine the crap I had to cut out. but thank you for sticking around. I am going to pop to Leicester Square again tomorrow, or today, depending on when this video comes out, how long it takes me to edit, on Wednesday for the European premiere of Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Obviously I haven't been invited because I'm a nobody, but if I'm brave enough, I'm going to go and just kind of see if I can peek anything. That would be pretty cool. I've already seen the two Optimus statues, but who knows, maybe I could spot something else before I have to go to work. Ah, that's so annoying. Working evenings sucks. But there you are. Yeah, thanks again for watching. All in all, let's see what happens. Thank you for watching. If you want to do the usual YouTube thing, go for it, but I'm not fussed.